In this video, we're going to set up a leave contract for a crew member. Contracts are where you define all aspects of your crew's leave entitlement. Each crew member will have their own contract. However, you can create contract profiles that can be used across multiple crew members for things like specific leave entitlement. So to get started, to create a contract, head to the contract details page, find the crew member you want to create a contract for, and click on the three-dot icon at the end of a crew member's row and select Add New Contract. The contract editor is split into 6 sections highlighted at the top here. We'll begin by entering the start date of the crew member. If you're transitioning to work rest midway through a crew member's current contractual year, you can choose to either set the start date as their actual contractual start date on board, which could be months ago, or you can set their start date at the beginning of the current month, and you can then add an opening accrued leave balance to this contract to get them up and running without having to backdate to their original start date. We'll touch on adding an opening balance later in the video. If the contract would likely renew each year, we'll set no to the end date. This means the contract would just renew every year on the start date we've set. The anniversary date can be used to highlight when the contract renews. If nothing is entered, the original start date will be used as the anniversary date. Flight balances will be reset to 0 on the anniversary date. However, the anniversary date won't impact accrued leave balances as they don't reset at any point. If you've created contract profiles already, this is where you'd be able to apply them at the bottom here. For this video though, we're going to start from scratch, so we'll clear the selection and hit next. If you'd like to add a trial period to a contract, you can do so here. You'd be able to set duration and the specifics for how to handle accrued leave during the trial period here. But for this video, I'm going to skip the trial period. The calculation section is where you'll set the leave entitlement for the contract. There are 2 types of contract you can select in work rest, which is permanent and rotational. Permanent will accrue leave over the entire duration of the contract, regardless of whether the crew member is on board or not, whereas rotational will only accrue leave whilst the crew member is on board. It's important to make sure you set this correctly, as it will impact the accrual rate calculation below. We're going to say this is a 3-on, 1-off rotational contract, so the annual leave entitlement over a 365-day period would be 91.25. You'll now see underneath what my daily accrual rate would be. If this is incorrect, you can manually adjust it here. It's at this point that you can save this as a contract profile, which you can then use again for other crew. So let's save this as a 3-on, 1-off rotational contract. We mentioned leave adjustments earlier in the video, so this is essentially where you can set an opening balance for the contract. If you don't add in anything here, it will start the contract off with an accrued balance of 0. The flight section is where you can set the number of flights a crew member can take over their contractual year. You'll be able to allocate these flights from the balance when you schedule leave later on. Each individual flight can be allocated, so when you add the balance, a return trip would be 2 flights. So in this scenario, we're going to say the crew member gets 2 return flights, so that would be a balance of 4. Once you've added that, you'll be able to review the contract you've created and then hit submit at the bottom to activate it.